It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
So, I heard it all week long, right? 0-9 on Monday night. Yeah! You like how this tastes?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, you like how this tastes?
Oh, forgot about that one.
It's been a while since we've played that. Hey, welcome in live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. It's our Friday Purple Daily live stream. We go live a little after 10 o'clock Central Time every Friday, and we're looking to incorporate another live stream perhaps on a Monday when the season starts. We'll finalize our in-season schedule and let you guys know, but this is where we take all of your feedback on Fridays, your comments, questions, concerns, critiques from the YouTube comment section, from the feedback tab in the Score North app, and we get to as many as we can here. Presented by our friends at TCL, which has award-winning TVs for any budget, any space, all with stunning picture quality. TCL makes more than just TVs, too. They offer mobile products, audio devices, and home appliances. TCL brings you joy and simplicity through innovative technology. Learn more at TCL.com. And real quick, so tomorrow, I know the Vikings are playing a meaningless third preseason game. We are going to be, the Purple Daily crew here, we're going to be live at the Minnesota State Fair in person in Carousel Park on the big Carousel Park stage. So I don't know, we're not going to use the whole stage. We'll just be sitting up there and interacting with you guys from 1 o'clock until 2 o'clock. Come hang out. If you want to go to the fair, if you're sort of on the fence, should I go to the fair? Should I not? Come on out. We're going to be on stage doing sort of a live Purple Daily. We might mix in some other random stuff as well between 1 and 2 o'clock Saturday, tomorrow. Minnesota State Fair, Carousel Park stage. And yes, we'd love to meet as many of you as possible. And we'll have a mic out there for some sports therapy, some Vikings therapy. So, yeah, come on out.
I just got an idea that could be an absolute gold mine. Because to your point, we've got an entire stage, right? Purple Daily, the musical.
Oh
no!
Wow!
Purple Daily, the music. So we turn this. So we turn this thing on its ear. The Vikings can't win the Super Bowl. What's wrong? Kirko songs. Oh my God! Draft pick songs. That's what we should do. An hour.
I'm in on this.
Of a musical.
Let's do it. That's what the people need.
And I used to too. But you know what? Damn it! I enjoy a well-produced play and musical. I think what we can do is expand the brand.
Maybe some horses too. We can be on horseback singing.
These are all
Declan's worst nightmares.
Least favorite things in the world.
That'd be great. Well, you know what happens when you do the Immaculate Grid without your friends? That's what happens. Your friends gang up on you.
Stay tuned for Mackie and Judd to see how wrong these fools are about the Immaculate Grid, and that'll be a good one too.
The Score North Twin Show is where you can hear Declan try to. I don't know what he's going to argue, but we'll do that over on the Score North Twin Show.
Comment from Jeff. Hey, it went wide left. We'll end the first act. This is genius.
If someone can write an actual, musical score for us, then we will attempt to sing it.
Not again.
So, all right, let's get to some of the feedback here, gentlemen, from Southern Exile. As a fan, Judd's camp notes from yesterday gave me the willies. It seems like this team is a Frankenstein monster comprised of a bootleg offensive line, a stable of C-grade running backs, a disgruntled diva tight end, and a patchwork defense fueled on youth and gumption but very little skill. It seems like if we lose Cousins, we may be front runners for Caleb Williams because the supporting cast couldn't churn out any W's. From Judd's front row at practices, if he has to pick one, are we closer to being a surprise boom team or a catastrophic bust team?
Boy, okay. So this team is not, well, I'll preface this by saying if Kirk gets hurt, it's going to be a bust. But that's true for a lot of teams. Like if you remove the starting quarterback from a ton of teams, it becomes a bust. So I don't think it's fair to say, because if Kirk gets hurt, it is done. Like just tank, just lose. I would say it's currently constituted. If I had to pick one of those two, I would say boom, because I don't think the bust is there unless Kirk gets hurt.
Yeah.
I did say, Phil, while you were in transit back from Denver, so you didn't join us for the Judd's Camp Notes on PD in the afternoon, but I did say that once again, the short to intermediate passing game, which relies on blocks holding up quickly in the 2 practices, to me looked really spotty. There were some vertical shots again, which means that the offensive line held up on those. But I'm talking about that quick, screen passes and things. I have not seen a whole lot in camp that makes me think the interior offensive line is like somehow markedly improved. And that's a concern. That is a concern because, again, Kirk Cousins ain't changing. And this is not a Kirk problem. Kirk Cousins is who Kirk is. He can certainly scramble as far as going in the boots. He can make passes on bootlegs. Okay, I get that. But as far as like taking off, no, that's not really his game. And I would say one of my, if I had to have 3 major concerns, interior offensive line pass protection is right up there still, because there's definitely, especially in joint practices, when the Titans or Cardinals have had their top defensive lines in, there are definitely times where you're like, ooh, this could be a problem again.
Well, I actually think I would be shocked if it was a catastrophic bust. If we're getting the 2 choices here from Southern Exile, commenter, exactly. Catastrophic bust or surprising boom. I guess if Cousins gets hurt and misses the whole season or something, and you're playing with a backup, like that would be the only way that happens. A Kirk Cousins led team sort of starts at like 7-win baseline, right? You can have a really bad defense and a bad offensive line, and Kirk is enough of a professional quarterback, and Justin Jefferson, where you're gonna win some games. So to that, I would say they're probably closer to a surprising boom, where if everyone does stay healthy and the diva tight end, as the commenter puts it, comes back and whatever is fine with his contract, and the defense wreaks havoc and they force turnovers and it's just more pressure and everything. So I would definitely say closer to a surprising boom.
It's definitely, I think, a better boom than a bust. What's interesting with the offensive line point, and I brought this up to Judd yesterday, is this time last year, we didn't know Christian Darrisaw was going to be an All-Pro. We thought Garrett Bradbury wasn't ever going to take a step forward. And you take a year from that now, and here we are, and Bradbury's taken a step forward. Christian Darrisaw's become one of the best tackles in the NFL. I know Brian O'Neill's coming off an Achilles, but on paper is a really good right tackle. Like, the Vikings answered more questions about 3 really important positions of their offensive line in the last year, and yet we still have probably bigger questions on the interior parts, especially after watching the Netflix quarterback doc.
Yeah. So this is all a good segue into the next comment or two here. DJ Souptown via the YouTube comment section says, is it Judd's camp notes or Judd's camp complaints?
Oh, I like that.
Hold on a second. I had a lot of positive notes.
I mean, we're getting some gripes that you're complaining a little bit too much in the camp notes the last couple of days.
I had a lot of positive points. I've got
a little negative.
Look, hold on a second here. I've got a segment that
little Debbie Downer.
I was going to suggest for next week. Look at this. Okay, depth chart. All of these guys highlighted are guys that I was going to do in a segment where camp surprises and standouts.
Why haven't we gotten that positive segment yet?
But I've been talking about
because you got to start with the negative segment.
Brandon Powell. I've been Johnny Munt. I've been talking about who was the first guy to bring you Ivan Pace Jr. love and steam. That was me. Yeah, I was singing his praises. So I'm just taking the temperature of the room here. Andrew Hansen 34 has another gripe. I don't come to you to blow smoke up your behinds. I come to you with the honest camp notes truth, good or bad.
You can't handle the truth.
I want to put you there. I want to put you in Egan in those steaming hot bleachers, and I want to tell you what I saw. And some of it's good, some's bad, and some of it's just meh, like that.
All right, Andrew Hansen 34 says, here's Judd logic. If you don't practice, you are cut. This guy would bench an all-pro player if he missed practice. Laughable.
Oof. Trey Longwu, I think, is in jeopardy. I really do.
I love when this is
happy.
Yeah.
I don't think they're happy about this. I think that they are extremely disappointed. And as I told Declan to lead off Judd's camp notes yesterday, I said, I am not going to be surprised one bit if this team makes an addition of a name that we recognize at the running back spot. They have no depth right now. And Madison's not like this super sure thing. Like you think, and if he gets hurt, it's Ty Chandler. And so far they have throughout the course of camp brought in 2 slappies. But the reality is I think that there's a very good chance come Tuesday evening into Wednesday that one addition made to this team is a running back who we know. And I also think that there is now a chance Wongwu doesn't make this team because I think there's a massive disappointment about the fact he did not return.
Yeah. It's always funny to me. Like I'm going to pick at this comment here for a second. When people take an argument clearly way too far, where they'll say, Kirk Cousins could lead the Vikings to a Super Bowl and throw 150 touchdown passes, and these guys would still find. It's like, no, we would clearly praise him if that happened. And then this one, if you don't practice, you're cut. This guy would bench an all-pro player. If Justin Jefferson misses practice, Judd wants him cut. No, but if you're on the border of the roster and you're not practicing, it's like, what do we do with you if you're like the 53rd guy and the other guy's practicing? It's a thing.
Off that point, let's see here. Keneal Harry got signed to get a chance. He then got hurt before the Titans game. He didn't practice. Let's see what happened after that. Oh, he got cut.
Yeah.
He got cut. Why did he get cut?
Because you can't make the club in a tub.
Exactly right. The cliche is absolutely true.
While we sit here in our
People
comfortable offices and couches, these guys need to get out there. You got to get out there and play through the injury.
We didn't choose that life. They did. They chose football. Now you got to practice. Look,
people make choices.
Exactly right. Exactly. I always love that too. Like, you're not out there playing. You know what? No, I have no interest in being out there playing. Their life sucks as far as I'm concerned. And there's almost no amount I could make where I would say, you know what I really want to do? Play football. That doesn't
I don't know
mean
that I would say their life sucks. They make a lot of money to play a game, and it can be sucky, but I don't.
Well, if you're a quarterback and you're good, it's great. But I'm sorry, if you play the majority of positions in football, you have chosen a very tough life.
John D says in Kirk's press conference yesterday, he alluded to wanting Mustache Monday and Jersey Day to come back for next year's training camp.
Yep,
fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Did Kirk just state publicly that he will be on the Vikings next year?
Well, I think he'd like to be. Yeah, I mean, I think he would like to be. I think he is. It would have been more interesting if 2 days ago at the podium, Kevin O'Connell had said, you know what, we're going to bring back Mustache Monday and Jersey Day, and Kirk is going to lead that in 2024. But I think Kirk is working with the intention he'll be back. I also think Kirk and the rest of us don't know.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it, which is a good segue here into some of the Trey Lance follow-up. So we did the Trey Lance episode. Now that Ian Rappaport is putting out there very credibly,
Bill Barnwell too now.
Bill Barnwell has a piece on ESPN.com saying the Vikings are the best fit. So let's go through some of the stuff that you guys sort of said on the YouTube comment section via the Score North app. Tim Kriegler says, hey guys, in regards to passing on a trade for Trey Lance, why should him not developing under Kyle Shanahan matter? When did Shanahan become the be-all, end-all for quarterback development? He played a role in developing Kirk, but RG3 was a bust. He elevated Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan was already pretty good. Traded for Jimmy Garoppolo, another good but not great quarterback, and Jimmy Garoppolo showed some signs in New England, but it wasn't like he was, garbage when he got to San Francisco. Brock Purdy has been good, but such a small sample size. He has a fantastic system, but to me, his quarterback development is good, not great. I say if the compensation is right, roll the dice. Yeah, I mean, and by the way, I think our stance in the Kyle Shanahan discussion, we all kind of agreed that it gives you a little pause, like that system, that coach. It gave Declan a lot of pause. Judd and I were like, it's a thing, but, if it's a first-round pick, okay, I'm probably not having that conversation, but a 6th-round pick, I can get over the Kyle Shanahan part of it, I think.
Trey Lance also, in his defense a bit, was the starter, 2 games in or a game in and got hurt in Chicago. and he was done, he missed another year there too. And the one thing that I'll defend him a bit on, and this is not an absolution thing, but I will defend him a bit. So the system that San Francisco introduced to start 2022 was for Lance. Like, that was designed for Trey Lance. The system in which he has struggled in the preseason in his first games back are not for him. So basically, they're saying, go out and execute the Brock Purdy, the system that we're going to use, because we're not going to create a gimmick offense for a guy that we perceive as our third string quarterback. So I think I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of cause for pause about why people are tying the Vikings to Lance. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm not even saying it's a great idea. But I think that dismissing it is like missing the big picture of where this could be going. And again, what Kevin O'Connell long-term is going to see as the type of quarterback, the style of quarterback that he wants for this team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against a late day 3 pick. I think I saw the early reports. It's an earlier day 3 pick. So you're looking at rounds 4 or 5 probably for potential Trey Lance trade. But yeah, I don't know what makes much sense. If they didn't draft Jaren Hall this year, and there was still if it was Te'amu was the third string guy behind Nick Mullins, okay, let's see what you got there. But I think if already drafted Jaren Hall and then you just basically switch Jaren Hall with Trey Lance, to me, I don't think it doesn't make much sense to me.
Judd, what let's say it was Jaren Hall or Trey Lance. Are you that married to Jaren Hall?
Nope. I'm going Trey Lance. I think what it would be in their world is just switching pieces out, and that they would see Trey Lance as because it's all potential upside. That's it. Now, if Jaren Hall was a 3rd round pick, I probably would not do it, because then I'd be like, if Kevin O'Connell, because there's a big difference between Rick Spielman taking the now cut by Cleveland Kellen Mond 3rd round. If Kevin O'Connell had deemed a quarterback to be a 3rd round pick, I probably think that there's a fighting chance that this guy could start someday. A 5th round pick is a long shot. I'm curious there. But no, if I switched out the pieces and quite possibly also got Jaren Hall through to the practice squad and now Trey Lance is my 3, I would do that.
Actually, that would be obvious. Yeah, if you could waive Jaren Hall and he gets to your practice squad, and now you got Mullins and Trey Lance as your backups, and then you've got Jaren Hall on your practice squad. Okay, that kind of solves that conundrum. On the Kellen Mond front, here's a comment directed at, kind of Declan. Matthias9495 on YouTube says, the show is better when y'all don't talk about quarterbacks. I still remember the grin Declan had when Kellen Mond was drafted. The Browns waived him this week.
Well, thanks for watching my grins, I guess, back in March of 2020 or May of 2021, whenever the hell the draft was 2 years ago. Yeah, I don't know. He was a 3rd round pick. It was exciting. It's exciting when your team takes a quarterback, and it didn't work, but it also didn't shipwreck you. So I guess eggs on my face for that.
Here's what I don't get. So, because I've actually gotten, and it's not surprising, I've gotten tweets, X's, and things like that in the last couple of weeks during camp notes saying that I know nothing about football, but then people are watching. So like if I had a show and I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, I probably just quit watching the said show.
They can't quit you. They hate watch you.
Yeah. So like, what's the deal? Why are you watching? Why are you stalking me when you hate me? I don't understand that. Again, proving that love and hate, very closely related things. Sports dad hated and loved, but I don't know football, but you still watch me. I'm just confused.
There's a lot of people in the commenters that hate, I think, us specifically, but yet are still dropping the comments and still watching the likes and hitting the like button and all that stuff.
Thank you for that. Yes, we appreciate.
I love them for that.
Hopefully, you enjoy the content. If you just come here every day to seethe and hate, we appreciate you helping us grow the brand, so to speak. You know, we're here for everyone. Okay. Let's hear. David Stock says, just to continue the Lance thing for a second, why wouldn't you trade a day 3 pick for Trey Lance? You guys have talked a lot about what life after Cousins could look like, and most of the time that includes a year or two of a bridge quarterback when you're transitioning. Next season is the year for Lance to potentially get his in-game reps, and as Judd said, It's not like KOC and the coaching staff are just going to ignore him if he's here, behind Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kellen Mond was probably just going to be a bust either way, but Kellen Mond came in here, and I'm guessing, the head coach barely spent any time with the starting quarterback, so he wasn't getting like any head coach tutelage, so it would be different here under this offensive-minded coaching staff. The comment continues, I would much rather have Lance or another quarterback with upside playing next year than whichever slappy free agent veteran is available as a bridge quarterback if Cousins doesn't come back. And that's the main thing to remember here is, because there's a lot of people like, well, why wouldn't you just keep riding Cousins? He's only 35, whatever. He can play for. He is not under contract right now. So we have to, and the front office has to operate with other options in mind. Like right now, it would be foolish to say, well, he's probably going to be the quarterback next year. I don't know. What if he hits the open market and another desperate team says, we'll give you $48 million a year? We don't know what's going to happen in March of 2024. We just know that Kirk is not under contract as of right now.
And there's a reason why they haven't signed him yet, too. That's the thing. We all agree he could return, right? But if they 100% had said back in March, this is our guy. Like, we have found him. We have found our guy. He would have been signed to a 3-year extension by now. So that's the other, and the other thing that we don't know is this. We can talk about it. I can say, you know what they could do? They go get a veteran bridge guy. Kevin O'Connell might say, like hell, I want a guy I can develop. I want a guy, even if there's rough moments, I want a guy I'm developing. So this is the thing, folks. We don't know. The only thing that we know for sure is Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback guy. He's made that clear, played the position. We know that. But we don't know how he thinks about this. Mm-hmm. He might say, to hell with a bridge. And by the way, I want a guy who's mobile, and that's why Kirk's not coming back. But yeah, if Kirk Cousins, I just keep going back to this. If Kirk Cousins was 100% definitively their guy, he gets an extension in March. He didn't. There's a reason why. So yes, this is all there is. And I know that the unknown is scary, but there is a ton of unknown here about the direction that they're going to go at that position.
Yeah. So they have to be proactive, and we'll see. I don't know. This is all at this point. It's all just fun speculation on the Trey Lance front. Cole Bjornberg chimes in here. If TJ Hockenson wants to reset the tight end market, which most can agree we can't afford to pay him top dollar, knowing we are going to have to do that with Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw, let's see what the trade market looks like and maybe get a second-round pick back. You traded a second-round pick. He helped you, get to the playoffs, whatever. Maybe you could get a second-round pick back for him. Keep Nick Muse on the 53-man roster so you still carry 3 tight ends. And now you use that second-round pick you got for Hockenson. What are you laughing at?
Declan, it says write that down. Nick Muse is going to make the 53.
Oh,
Declan's like, oh yeah, Nick Muse.
Let's do it.
So you would you'd keep the 3 tight ends, you'd trade Hockenson for a second-round pick, and then the comment continues, you use that second-round pick along with future first-round picks to move up and get a quarterback in next year's draft. You won't end up with one of the first 2 picks, but I'm certain there'll be 4 or 5 good quarterbacks coming out of this draft that Kevin O'Connell can mold easier than Jaron Hall, for instance. Time to start thinking about the team and the ultimate goal of winning the mother bleeping Super Bowl. I have listened to you guys religiously for the past 4 years, and now I have my father, Jeff Bjornberg, hooked on your show. So if this comment makes the show, give that Army veteran a shout out. Keep up the great work. Hey, Jeff Bjornberg, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
And for being a listener of Purple Daily. We appreciate it. I don't know. Would you think about trading TJ Hockenson?
So I've started to give this more thought in the past few days. Not like if I would, but would they, right? Like he's not he's going through some drills, but he's not really practicing still. O'Connell 2 days ago said he might be back on Thursday, right? Oh yeah, he might be back on Thursday. Well, of course he was on the field doing work to the side, but not taking part. It's an interesting thought. And if he wants to, I guess my question is this. If you want to reset the market, what are you looking for here? And if you want to reset the market, like I thought he was looking for an extension that was fair, but I didn't know if it would be resetting the market or just like something in the in the guaranteed range of George Kittle, who's a better player than Hockenson is. But I think it's worth a conversation. I think the goal is to get this done. And look, it very well might get done September 9th. But all of that being said, with all of the pending contracts, and to go back to the conversation that we had on the scoop session with Doogie, with the lack of contracts that Kwesi and these guys have now given out, I don't think you can dismiss this, because there's got to be a method to the madness, right? There's got to be a reason why Hawkinson's not done and Jefferson's not done, and they elected not to do Cousins. And then to his point, Darisaw is going to be, he's going to be eligible for an extension in a year. Now, with the way things are going with Jefferson trending, I'm guessing he won't get the contract then. But all those points, it's a ton of unknowns. We don't know. I think Hockenson gets done, but that's sort of also based on my feeling about past Vikings philosophy. And this isn't, this is not Rick. So have to wait and see.
I think the path to trading him is actually in season. So let's say the Vikings get off to that slow start. So they got to play Justin Herbert. They have to play Jalen Hurts. They have to play Patrick Mahomes. They have a game in Lambeau 2 days before the NFL trade deadline, which I believe is Halloween this year. I think it's October 31st. So let's say they're 1-5. They've gotten off to a slow start. Do you sell TJ Hockenson and try to get something back? Do you try to get a future second-round pick, which you gave up last year to get him? I think the in-season trade makes more sense than flipping him before the season starts.
I agree.
But if it's only on the merit that you just get off to a disastrous start, whether it's just by bad luck or injuries.
Yeah, Travis Kelce goes down or something. I mean, there's things that could happen around the league that if you don't come to a contract extension, you could also just carry it through and franchise him. But it seems like he's already putting up a fuss. Now the franchise tag thing probably wouldn't go over well.
I don't
it never does.
sign that.
Yeah, it's a weird situation.
But here's my ultimate question, and I've been poo-pooed by some, but I think it's fair. My ultimate question is this. So far, this seeming charade has been carried out by everyone involved, right? Went from an ear, now it's a back, and he can do work again. He can do work with a bad back, but he can't do some work. What happens if a contract is not done September 10th? And now he has said, I'll play. And fans that I've talked to are like, oh, he's going to play. He's going to play. We don't know that.
Yeah.
He's carried on this. I mean, what's to stop him from the morning of September 10th going out on the field before the Buccaneers game, putting himself through a workout, coming back in and saying, I can't go. My back still hurts.
Yeah.
So
which, by the way, we've seen this with Vikings players before too. I mean, Sidney Rice held surgery over the team's head for an entire summer in training camp. Yeah. Hey, I know my hip's been a little achy. I mean, he actually did need surgery, I think.
But he didn't have it on purpose until the last second.
Yeah. So you never know, man. I know that there's a lot of fans, and we've gotten some pushback on this, that, well, he said it's not about the contract. Why don't you just leave it alone? Leave it alone, Judd. Well, okay. So I guess we just leave everything alone and just get lied to, and I don't know. But
the problem with that philosophy is this: on September 10th, if he says I can't play,
okay, I think he'll play. But
now you've ignored it, right? But I'm just saying what leads you to believe that the one thing Hockenson's being completely truthful about is I'll play? I think he plans on his contract being done. But if it's not, why am I cherry picking? Well, I don't really believe this and I don't believe that, but he'll play.
Yeah.
And by the way, if he says he's hurt and can't play, he does not lose that game check.
If he says he's hurt and can't play. Right.
If he goes out there and says, my back is
shady.
Still a mess. It's super shady, but this whole thing is shady.
Yeah.
That's the point is we want to leave things alone until it adversely affects the team. And then it's a story. What this show does right here, what we do every day is we jump on topics that the Vikings are already on.
We do like to get ahead. We do. And you're right. I think, whether it was the Trey Lance stuff a couple years ago, and if you don't like that we like to get ahead, then okay, maybe it's going to drive you nuts. But speaking of getting ahead, by the way, okay, you can get ahead in the weight loss game by calling our friends at Livia. That's what Judd did a couple years ago.
I sure did. And the guy on the left, Sports Dad, the guy on the right, Sports Dad. What happened? I'm going to tell you right now what happened. Weight loss, substantial weight loss through a program that for the last 3 years, that's right, 3 consecutive years, Livia has been voted the best weight loss program in the state. That means they are not just a first round pick. That means they're like a quarterback who goes first overall when it comes to your desire to lose weight. And a special offer on right now. If you join right now, 3 months for free. That's right. 3 months, not 3 weeks, not 3 days, 3 months for free. Imagine all the weight that you can drop in 3 months, and you are just getting started on a weight loss journey that I'm going to guarantee you folks works, and they're going to help you keep the weight off. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com, Livea.com. Inside or outside the state, they can take you, they can help you, and you can lose that weight. Again, 3 months for free, Livea.com.
Also, a shout out to our friends over at Ugly Deck, Judd. Let's roll right into this one, too, because Ugly Deck is not only here to help you potentially just build a new deck, but you can do it yourself and save a bunch of money as well.
A ton. Exactly right. In fact, look at the fun. Look at the fun that these people are having. And why? Because they saved a ton. A maintenance-free deck can be expensive. But what if I told you there is a way to save, and I'll say this slowly because it's a lot, $10,000, even if you think that you can't build a deck yourself. UglyDeck.com is the DIY assist program where Ugly Deck installs the footings and ledger, designs and assists with your project, and you finish the deck and you save thousands. You get a free DIY coach from start to finish. So you get your own personal quarterbacks coach who's going to help you. Half of the UglyDeck.com DIY customers, they have never framed a deck before, but you can DIY it with their help. Average savings between 10 and 11 grand. If you go to their website, you can pick out your deck, check out all the great national brand products that they carry. Look at that thing right there. Right now, their fall promo, $500 off. Just tell them that Judd sent you or that Purple Daily sent you. Late summer and fall, perfect time to build a deck. So get started now on their website. It's uglydeck.com. Click on DIY. Save 10 to 11 grand on a deck that's going to look fantastic.
And a shout out to our friends also at EcoFun. So it's still a great time of year to be getting into electric bikes, ATVs, scooters, dirt bikes, all sorts of great pricing right now at the 2 metro locations. One in Burnsville, South Metro, 35W and County 42, and then Forest Lake off I-35. I am highly interested still in these golf carts. Okay, I feel like I don't know where I would personally store one for myself because we don't have like a garage space for it. But my goodness, I've always wanted a souped up golf cart. And the scooters too, they range from 49cc up to 300cc. So some powerful scooters for you to ride around on. Check them out at ecofunmotorsports.com, ecofunmotorsports.com. Let's keep rolling here through the comments. Middle-aged Vikings fan says, I saw a tweet yesterday that I thought would be an interesting discussion for the show. The question was, you can bring back any retired athlete in their prime to your favorite sports team, but they'd replace the current best player at that position. Who would you guys choose for the Vikings? So you could bring in, you could bring in like. If I brought in
Moss, JJ's out.
Correct. Yep.
Clearly, I would not do that. Dex?
I mean, I would love Prime Dante in here and swap out Kirk Cousins. Love Prime Dante. Now, Dante not on the same level as like MVP. I mean, he almost won an MVP 1 year.
Well, you'd get that version. You'd get the best prime version of. So would Prime Dante be the best addition over Kirk, or Judd, would you go somewhere else?
If I was to do this to actually help this team, like right now too, and I'm seeing his
why else would you do it?
In the comments, right? But like, well, if you love Moss, you might be like, I want Moss back.
That's kind of what Declan's doing, I feel like.
JJ's out, but I want to help this team, and I'm seeing his name in the comments, Randall McDaniel.
Yeah.
I'm bringing in a guard.
I think you're right. I would either bring in a guard or a center, but the guard is probably the most urgent need. I'd actually bring in Steve Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Or wait. Was McDaniel a right or left guard? He was a right guard, wasn't he?
He was. I think they were both left guards.
Okay. Well, then either one of those guys would be.
Yeah, Hall of
and then
Famers.
you could slide Cleveland to right guard, and then Ingram, or just whatever. It's a committee at right guard. Whoever wants to play that week can play.
Right.
Just don't screw things up too badly. On defense,
Defensive line or cornerback?
got to be like interior defensive line, like John Randall in place of Dean Lowry or something. Well, it'd be in place of Harrison Phillips.
Big
But
Pat.
still.
Yeah.
Big Pat in place of,
Kevin at the 3-tech.
Yeah, you'd be replacing Harrison Phillips, and he's a good player, but we'd be talking about like Ring of Honor caliber players here.
Right.
Okay. Curious to see what people continue to put in the comment section.
Page is a good one.
Yep.
Prime Alan Page. That would not be tough.
Yeah,
Hey,
you'd have
Harrison
to.
Phillips. We'll see you later. Thanks a lot.
And obviously, he weighed like 215 pounds, so you'd have to translate to modern NFL, put on a couple pounds. Ann Keene says, so thanks to your show, my dad got the best 83rd birthday gift. His niece and nephews bought him enough Before I Die for the regular season, the Surly Before I Die lager. Then we bought him enough for the Vikings to go to the Super Bowl. If you can give a belated 83rd birthday shout out to Jack Keene, he would love it. Judd, can you cheers to Jack here? He's always got a can within arm's length.
Jack, 83, congratulations, fantastic. In fact, right here, I'll cheers you a Before I Die. I only have one question for Ann. How do you know what's enough for a season? Like, how do you know?
They must have mapped out like he drinks this many a week or this many a Sunday.
In some games, you're like, okay, I got to really go. Lots of
he's
beer.
83. He might have like maybe it's 1 or 2 or something. He's
probably
not putting 15 beers
anyway,
down.
Jack, congratulations. Before I die, before we all die, yes, we want to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl. And this beer right here at least takes the edge off what can be very difficult times.
So awesome, man. Yeah, and by the way, these Friday live streams are powered in part too by our friends at Surly, that Before I Die lager that you're seeing all over the place around the Twin Cities. If you go to the State Fair too, you will see in the bathrooms a shrine to the Before I Die mantra. Okay, I should have said, I guess we could have, I could probably put this up on my phone here. Let me see here.
I just got a note from a guy that saw it.
Yeah, Jesse's there.
Go.
Our friend Jessie Pierce is there. She saw it too.
Here, can you hold this? I'm just janky. I'm literally holding my phone up for the audience. The Just One Before I Die. Is this the year? And then it's where people can find Purple Daily, purpledaily.com, and anywhere you find podcasts.
I like it.
A perfect shrine in a perfect place. The bathroom for our show, Purple Daily. Stephen Barbie says, if at all possible today, can you guys take time to acknowledge the passing of 2 wrestling legends, Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt? I know there's some wrestling fans who listen to Purple Daily, and Declan and I are huge wrestling fans. But so Terry Funk was in one of your favorite movies, Roadhouse back in the day. Yep. One of the great hardcore wrestlers of all time, international star. And then Bray Wyatt is one of the most creative and great modern day professional wrestlers, and he died of a heart attack. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's had some heart issues throughout the year, and he died of a heart attack, and yeah, it's kind of shocking, I guess, to the wrestling world. Rest in peace,
stinks, man. Bray was one of like the coolest characters in wrestling over the last 10 years, essentially, from his ascension from NXT into The Fiend, headlining WrestleManias. I mean, this guy was in the prime of his career. He was released a few years ago. He came back about a little less than a year ago to this epic return at Extreme Rules, and he hasn't really been on TV since Royal Rumble time for the last 6 months. It's reminiscent, unfortunately, of when Eddie Guerrero, who actually passed away here in Minneapolis at the prime of his career, essentially. And obviously SmackDown's tonight, so I'm going to guess it's probably going to be a very somber and kind of an emotional episode of SmackDown. But I mean, just a guy cut down in his absolute prime, and just a huge shock in the wrestling world. I mean, it stinks, man. It really stinks.
Yep. So he just, I don't know. Like, remember like The Undertaker came along in the early 90s, and it was like, whoa, what is this? That was sort of what Bray Wyatt was 10 years ago. It's a lot harder to have that impact on people because almost every idea has been taken. But yeah, we are wrestling nerds, Declan and I, and that was pretty shocking yesterday. Jamie Rask says Aaron Rodgers is playing in this week's preseason game. So is Patrick Mahomes. Are the Viking starters so good that they don't need any real game experience before week 1? We will see if the Tampa game goes south. What do you think? Would you send Kirk and the first teamers out there?
No, I wouldn't. And Rodgers, I think, is probably going to play a series. And I guess my question is, what's that going to do? Like, is that going to create a cohesiveness? It used to be in the old 4 preseason games, the third one, the first team would ordinarily play the entire first half. Okay, if you're dedicated to that, that's going to help. But if you're going to play a series, and I actually heard a theory on the Jets is that Rodgers told him he wants to play to take the edge off because he's afraid if his first start is week 1 that the guys around him are going to be like, oh my God, we're playing, and it's going to be a lot for them. And that this is going to be an attempt just to get the first team out there with him and that this is actually his call. But with 4 joint practices now here and with preseason being down to 3 games, my thoughts on preseason have changed a lot. And if you get a starter, and I'm talking beyond the quarterback, if you get a starter hurt, I just don't think it's worth it. I really don't.
But they could get hurt also in the joint practices. A knee could go, or I get that there's actual tackling in a preseason game, and there would be an edge. Right. If an edge rusher gets around, they're going to tackle Kirk.
Right.
But there is something to be said for 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
Opting in and wanting to play preseason football.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it's a Kirk thing. It's more of a Kevin O'Connell thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Don't do it.
Okay. I would be open-minded to a series if it felt like
I used to be. Yeah, but joint practices, the QBs still wear the red jersey, so they can't be touched. I sort of like that. Like I don't want some hotshot rookie on the Cardinals. God forbid, shockingly beats Ezra Cleveland and gets a free shot on Kirk. I don't need that.
Okay. So, well, I think we've come to the end of our bin of comments here for this week on this live Feedback Friday Purple Daily YouTube channel. Hey, one favor to ask of you guys. So as we continue to just make sure that our content and our advertising partners are relevant to you guys, the audience, we would love for you to just answer a few questions over at scorenorth.com/survey. That's SKOR, scorenorth.com/survey. And you can fill out a survey to enter to win a $100 Amazon gift card. And the responses are anonymous. So if you want to rip the crap out of Judd or me or Declan, it will be anonymous if you want it to be. So yeah, scorenorth.com/survey. If you can help us out, it just helps us kind of fine-tune who we partner with, the content that we put out, and it's helpful. So, and maybe we'll see some of you tomorrow. I know it's during the Vikings' 3rd preseason game, but 1:00, Carousel Park, Minnesota State Fair. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be handing out therapy sessions to Vikings fans if they would like. We'll be on stage, and we'd love to meet as many of you as possible. So thanks for making this one of the most popular football podcasts in America, inexplicably, the last couple of years. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See ya.